Here today with Coach Kyle Neatherlin of the Corpus Christi Tigers. How you doing today, Coach?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I am doing well. I've been talking to coaches, and one of the things I'm trying to do is kind of illustrate coaching paths, how much coaches move around. So, if you don't mind, take us through your high school coaching history.
Yeah, no problem. Um, I came out of college and I was not certified, so I had to go the alternative certification route. Went through like the region service centers, and the place where I got a job was at Splendora, Texas. I got a middle school job there, coached football, basketball, and then varsity baseball. Stayed there for a year after I got my certification. Uh, Me and my wife were actually pregnant with our second kid, so we moved back to Midland, where we're from. I worked 1 year at Goddard Junior High under a really good coach named Mike Craig, coached football, basketball, and track at the middle school. And then Coach Craig really talked me up, and Coach Browning moved me up to the high school the next year. Can you? I'm sorry. Um, he moved me up to the high school, and I coached the sophomore team. I did that in JV baseball under Coach Barry Russell, and then after that, I just kind of worked my way up. I stayed in Midland for 14 years. Coach Yenzer came in that spring in '02, and he kept me, and I just kind of learned under his guidance and guys like Jim Conger, and I just worked my way up. I coached baseball. I coached. I mean, it's so many things I did. I coached running backs, receivers. I was special teams coordinator. Then finally, I became quarterbacks coach and offensive coordinator there. And then we felt like it was a time for change for me and my family. We ended up moving to San Antonio Marshall. I stayed there for years, the wide receivers coach, offensive coordinator. Then ended up going to Southwest for 4 years under Pete Wagner and Matt Elliott. Loved my time there. The kids at Southwest were amazing. And then I was fortunate enough to get the Somerville AD head football position, and I've spent the last 3 years there. And we made the playoffs this year. And then, I applied for this job and was very blessed to get it. Try to do that as fast and condensed as possible there.
Yeah, that's good. Now, you mentioned a few of the coaches that you worked under that were mentors for you. In your role as a head coach at Somerville and now at Corpus Christi Carroll, you have that responsibility of developing your assistant coaches and the coaches in all the programs there on campus. For whatever is next for them. So talk a little bit about the role of mentorship in coaching.
Well, I think it's very important. Like I said, like when I was at Midland, Jim Conger and Coach Yenzer, and I've had so many, I can't name them all. Mike Sadler, they taught me, Barry Russell, they taught me how to lead teams, how to do things the right way, X's and O's, all that kind of stuff. And so like Jim Conger in particular, I could just talk to him about anything, and he would, I was pissed. And I was always like, hey, what do you do here? How do you block this? And, he never got upset. He just would show me patiently. And so I feel like even as I got older and became an offensive coordinator, and I felt the same way, like it was my responsibility to share whatever I knew. And so I've been trying to do that throughout my career, whether it's through advice or things I've learned. I nominated one of my young guys on staff this past year for the Rock Mentee program that the txhsfb does, and he was accepted in that. So I was very excited because that's a big deal. A young man gets to make really good connections through the Coaches Association. It really helps his career and learning and meeting people. That's one of the biggest things you can do as me, that it's been around a while now, is to help your young coaches meet people and network and know people and can make connections. because you never know when, they may need a job. And I feel like, here we have a good group of young coaches, and I feel like it's my responsibility to help them and promote them as much as I can.
Now, when you went into Somerville, they hadn't had a lot of success in the recent past, and you managed in 3 years to get 9 wins. But may not sound like a lot, but in the previous 7 seasons, they had 7 wins. Now you're going into Carroll, which has a history of success, but not recently. So talk a little bit about the philosophy in taking over a program that isn't where you want it to be, and how you what's your philosophy there on getting things on track?
Well, Somerville had such a disconnect of when I got there, they had 7 ADs in 6 years. They were just, it was really, the whole system was broken. I don't even know if they'd had a head coach, they'd had one stay a whole year, or through a whole off season or whatever. Basically, I went in there and built relationships with the kids, created a structure, like this is how we're going to do things, in every aspect of, the in-season weightlifting, the summer strength and conditioning, the off-season program, all the sports got on the same page. And we really, it wasn't just me, it was everybody on staff. We did a great job of, building the relationships with the kids. We would have to go pick kids up, we were calling parents, telling, to come out, and just treating our kids really good. And that the word of mouth spread. And that's how we were able to get the numbers up and then start having success. Then you were able to teach them work ethic, and this is how it's supposed to be done. And that's basically how it was. Now coming here, Carroll's been on some hard times, but we're about to open up a brand new school in August. There's a really good vibe throughout the atmosphere. Like here, the kids are just working amazing. I'm not having to come in and teach work ethic and structure. They have that. The coaches here were doing a really good job. A guy named Taylor Wright, they were working hard. He had been the OC here, and they had him already moving in the right direction. So the coaches here had already taken ownership of the program and really got it going. Now it's on me to continue and build the relationships with the kids, teach them how to really win again, to build on and teach them how to the process, wins and losses. Like if we Matt Elliott used to tell me, our kids all the time, play the next play, and if you play as hard as you can every play, and then don't commit the turnovers and don't beat yourself with penalties. Penalties, that you're going to beat most of the teams that you play. And I got to get them to believing in the same mindset as me and what we're trying to do. And, then we'll go from there.
Now you've just been there a couple of weeks, and here in a couple of weeks, you'll start moving campuses over to the new campus for the fall. But I'm sure you've seen it, most of your kids. So what do you think you look like for the fall?
Well, I really like the kids that we have. It's really exciting because, like, when we get on the field, we're very athletic. I was, I'm not going to say I was surprised, but you see the record, it's 0-10 from last year, and you're thinking, dang. But I'm a real positive person, and I see the kids and how hard they work, and they really have skill. And so I'm expecting big things from these kids. The senior group is really, or seniors to be, I should say, they're really tight. I expect big things. I like the way that we do have are very good, and we're young, but I think on this team, we're only losing 5 starters on both sides of the ball, like total. So a lot of these guys have experience, and I think that's going to benefit us next year. And I think we can surprise some people.
Very good. So one hard question before I let you go. Tell me one thing about Cal Neatherlin that most people don't know.
Well, it's like I was kind of talking to you before. I like those cheesy dance, or not even necessarily dance, but musicals. As far as like movies, my daughters, they make fun of me. So that's one of those things. I love the good underdog story when anybody has to come from nothing and ends up making it. So I like cheesy stuff like that for sure.
So what's your favorite cheesy movie?
Oh my God. Nah, I'll have to say with my daughters, we used to watch Pitch Perfect all the time. If that tells you anything, that's pretty cheesy, but it gets a good laugh.
All right, Coach. Well,
I'm gonna catch heck for that one for sure.
Coach, thanks very much for your time today, and best of luck as you build the program there at Carroll.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you having us on so we could talk about our Tigers, man.